My journey with The Wild Robot started with Peter Brown's work. It has this way of making it immediately personal for the reader. There's just this optimism that comes across.
We fall in love with these characters because they're relatable, funny, they learn how to care about each other.
What we're capable of evolving into and beyond is, I think, the heart of the story.
When I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, this one's a real gem.
A Rosm always completes its task. Just ask.
I was actually working on a picture book that I was writing and illustrating. And as I was thinking about the relationship between like natural things and unnatural things, I ended up drawing a picture of a robot in a tree and just kind of hanging out. And that little drawing turned into The Wild Robot.
I love adventures, I love stories with heroes and villains and all that kind of stuff, but the stuff I always connect with is the smaller, more intimate things, the feelings that these characters are feeling throughout their stories, because I think that's the most powerful thing that anybody can hook into as an audience. And as a filmmaker, that's the stuff that I hold on to.
The Wild Robot is a story that is not afraid to pull at your heartstrings. When I started this process, I was cautious, I have to admit, because a good book doesn't automatically make a good adaptation. There's an amount of faith that goes into signing up to a project like this.
The Wild Robot was published in 2016. That's 8 years ago from this recording. And then one day I got the phone call that Chris Sanders had been brought on as the director of the movie.
We needed a really sophisticated look so that this theme doesn't play too young, because when you read the book, it really speaks to all ages. Particularly, I think, adults. The thing I liked so much about this book was the subtle but powerful emotional through line.
Roz learns to adapt and improvise, adapting to the world in such a way that she can approximate emotion.
His name can't have numbers. It's got to be personal.
Personal.
Processing personal.
I love the contrast between the mechanical in nature, to see all the animals react to this creature who has the biggest heart in the world.
It's all about friendship more than anything, which for me is everything.
This story is a bit of a departure for what we normally get to do. My first conversations with Chris were really about tone, making sure that we protected what was special and unique about this story, while also understandably bring it into a more cinematic version of what the book was set out to do.
The whole reason why I'm on this movie is because I love the book so much. I just bugged the studio over and over, let's make this thing, and if you do, I have to be on it because we're all fans of sci-fi. And we also love the design in the book, but in animation, because it is such a collaboration of artists and technicians, things just have to evolve in order for them to work.
We had a lot of very meaningful discussions about the kind of science behind the characters and the world that I created. I was worried that readers would have a hard time caring about a robot character for an entire novel. I thought it was going to be really important that Roz have one really special relationship.
There's an unspoken through line and theme of just going through life hurdles and trials and things like that.
Eat. Ah!
To Brightville, this is a story about belonging and how you seek it, how you find yourself, because oftentimes we may display traits that seem limiting to the world, and those limitations can be projected on us. But I think it's important to remain true to your essence and to dare to be more than even the world may expect you to be.
A lot of times we don't know how to give ourselves permission for that.
Why did you steal my Gosling?
I'm a fox. I do foxy things. It's in my nature.
A character like Fink is incredibly charming, devious, so it's my kind of excuse to be like, this is what I want to do.
Roz, remember how things work here.
Stop it, Fink.
One of the things I love about Fink, he is more dimensional in the end of the process than he was at the beginning. He's the one behind this little guy before Brightville flies away for the migration.
Hey, little guy, fly like you, not like them.
I will.
I saw the migration scene fairly clearly from the very first time I read it. The thing that's beautiful about this is that, like building a snowman, raising a bird like that, there is a built-in heartbreak waiting for this character that they don't realize yet.
We have some different scenes that Chris has brought to the table to really clarify Bright Bill and Roz's journey, but I think you feel connected in a way that you did with the book.
I think the story of it is so beautiful in the most poetic way. Being able to see everything sort of come together has been really brilliant.
This beautiful creature especially becomes alive being a mother to this little gosling.
I'm thinking I should maybe just stay with you guys this winter.
Nope. I find it very, very funny, but it always ends up moving me very deeply.
I cry every time I see it, and I watch it many times as part of this job, but it still gets me every time because it's just such a beautiful embodiment of Roz's journey as a mom.
I could use a boost.
It's one of my favorite things about making these movies is the things that you discover along the way, things that you dig into and you find and you build. And the interesting thing about this story that I loved from the book, midway through, she gets Bright Bill, her little gosling, into the air. She does accomplish that task. And what's next?
The wilderness is such a tough place. To try to go it alone is naive. Every species of animal is kind of an expert at a certain kind of survival. That science that's in the book fits in perfectly with Chris's vantage point.
Roz, she's got this innocence and this drive to help that was programmed into her. But the more damage that she takes in this wild place that she was never really designed to be, the better she gets, the more she learns. She doesn't turn bitter, she doesn't turn angry, and she doesn't give up.
She goes through the forest to save all these animals that have ostracized her against Fink's advice, to save them and bring them all together. The forest changes her, and she changes the forest with her kindness.
She starts to become a mother, not just to this little goose, she becomes a mother really to the entire island.
This team has been so passionate, and they're protective of it. They care so much about what they're putting out there and making sure that we make Peter Brown proud.
I love it. I mean, it's been great to work with new people, picking up on what you're trying to put out there.
There is something to be achieved in staying true to yourself, but also being able to embrace change. We're so often afraid of the things of people we do not know. And here's a book that's saying there's value in generosity and there's value in kindness.
Peter's story is very much the heart of the film, and from the very inception with Chris's first board pass.
This is a story that has a lot of truth to it. It's an amazing adventure, but it's an exploration of what it is to be a parent or a child and to live in a place. Doesn't seem like it's the right place, but your character can withstand a lot, and it can be better for it.
I'm honored and humbled to see the amount of work and attention to detail that's gone into this movie. They've created this version of Roz that is just perfect. I feel pretty lucky.